Yes, guys, welcome back. How is everybody? Hope everyone's doing well. Thank you very much for joining me tonight. Tonight, guys, we're going to play a little game of buy, keep, sell. A bit like kiss, marry, avoid, as my wife would say. But yeah, we're going to play keep, buy, sell with this Liverpool team. We're going to have a little bit of discussion, a little bit of debate about it again. I've got a panel that's coming on, guys. I'm going to bring on in 1 minute. We're going to talk about other things today. So apparently Jude Bellingham is not a dead transfer right now. Hearing from David Lynch today that this deal is not dead. So yeah, this saga will continue until Jude Bellingham goes to Man City. We've got a lot to talk about. We're going to get our guests on right now. First off, we're going to get a guy who's just started YouTube only a few months back. I think he's already, close to 500 subs already. 500 subs already. He's doing great stuff. Good friend of mine. Let's bring Ends into the show. Big up, Ends. Muted, my man.
Big up. Can you hear me?
Yeah, hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, good. Appreciate the intro, man.
That's good.
Cold still. I appreciate the invite as always. Big up to everyone in the chat as always. But I'm good, man. I hope you're good. I hope the family's well. I'm here, man.
All good. Now we're going to bring on a couple of other guys. These two, they're good friends of mine. They're doing good stuff as well at the moment. Yes, they might not get as much out as they like to because they're busy guys. But I think that's going to turn around quite soon. They're doing some good stuff when they are live, guys. You guys will know them as Luke and Ricky. They're the 1892 Reds TV guys. I'm going to bring them in right now. Luke, Ricky, big up, guys. How you doing?
All good. Tired, man. I've been up since 5 this morning, out on the road all day. I've been up and down Kent all this today. I've been thinking about, obviously, who we're going to be keeping, selling, avoiding. As you like to say, I wouldn't want to sort of kiss any of the Liverpool players. And avoid
I don't know. Alisson is a good.
I mean, if Divock Origi was still at the club a couple of times, he's had a few kisses off Liverpool fans. That would probably be the one. But yeah, cheers for letting me come on, Jamie, and hope you're well, mate. And obviously, Rick, I talk to you all the time, mate. So
big up to you too, man.
Yeah, Rick, Luke. I don't know if you know Ends. So yeah, I think this might be the first time you've done a show together. So
I think
it's good to bring people together. Before we get on with all this, we're going to talk about a few breaking stories that have gone on today. So, Tyler Morton, guys, what do we reckon? Apparently, there's an article today that Klopp is impressed with him at Blackburn. I really don't know how many games Klopp's watched with him at Blackburn in his busy schedule, but apparently he's enjoying what he's seen. Now, if we go with logic, we loaned Harvey Elliott to Blackburn for a year, came back, played every game this season. What do we reckon, guys? Tyler Morton, is he going to come back to the squad? Is he going to be part of this squad next season? Is it going to be, are we keeping him just for the homegrown stuff, or are we going to move him on? What do we reckon, Ends? I know it's a wicked start.
Look, I'm not gonna knock him. I haven't really watched him, to be fair, so I don't know if he's progressed or I don't know if he's improved as a player. But obviously, if Klopp likes him, it's down to you know what I mean. This is crazy, man. I want some fresh blood, man. I need some better midfielders. I don't need Tyler Morton. But look, if Klopp wants him, if he has improved, if he's been doing well in the Championship, then it can be a part of the squad, I guess. He's homegrown, but I'd rather more, man. I'm sure we'll get into it, but yeah, Tyler Morton's a depressing one still.
Morton. Luke,
fuck's sake.
If anyone knows, hang on, I've got one thing. So when I Google, I don't know if anyone's seen this, but when I Googled Tyler Morton last time, this was the image that came up for Tyler Morton.
Wow.
And yeah. That tells you everything, man. Prison FC. Yeah. Luke, what are we saying? Tyler Morton.
I'm kind of with Ends, to be honest, though. I mean, like, we want more. I do want Liverpool to act in the market, especially this summer, because we need to. But you know what? Like, obviously, you've made a good comparison with Harvey Elliott as well. We went out on loan to Blackburn, obviously, a few seasons back, of course, and he was really good. And obviously, he's come back into this Liverpool team, and he's He's obviously challenging for the starting 11. Obviously, he's a very important player for our squad, but I don't think Tyler Morton obviously is the answer to all of our questions. Whether he's going to be like the next big thing at Liverpool, but I wouldn't let him go. I would keep him. I think he's just signed a new long-term contract as well. Maybe as well that could protect the player a little bit in terms of if Blackburn then have him for another year and then they may want a permanent deal, then Liverpool could obviously get a bit of money out of it, so it could protect him with value. But I think he's still got some form of potential, even before he went out on loan. Obviously, played a couple of league games because obviously some injuries, but he settled in the team quite nicely. Done well in the Champions League for a couple of games he played. So I do think that there is something there for Morton. So I don't think I would sell him just yet, but obviously give it another year, then my mind might change. So at the moment, I'd say keep.
Yeah, Ricky.
Depends how broke this club really is. Let's be realistic. We might not be in a position where we can get rid of the local Sunday League talent, but it depends what money we've got. Them greedy owners want to put in the summer in terms of a transfer budget. I'm hoping it's above 20 million. But who knows? I've seen some Blackburn fans on like their club forum and stuff, and they just do not rate the kid. He took a bit of abuse for the game against Sheffield United in the FA Cup. That he was not strong enough in certain departments of the game, and he was at fault for a goal. But listen, if we're not going to bring no one in, you might as well keep him.
I mean, that is the thing. And talking about bringing people in. So the other story today is it Paul Mitchell, the Monaco? He's been at Southampton, Tottenham. Liverpool apparently talking to him about being the new sporting director, taking over Julian Ward. Now, he's got a bit of potential behind him. He's got great talent ID. I believe he worked for Southampton, Tottenham, and is it Leipzig previously? And I think it was him who brought Mane to Southampton originally. He found the quality young players at Tottenham that had come through in the Pochettino era, I believe. What are we reckoning? What do we reckon? We need a sporting director. He's got a good pedigree behind him.
It's all well and good getting a sporting director, but does Klopp still have that power that he seems to be have at the moment in terms of transfers and players that he wants to keep and let go? Because there's no point of getting a sporting director, because we'll find ourselves in the same situation again, like Edwards, where he just, okay, if you're not going to allow me to do my job, then what's the point of me being here? Unless this guy's coming in and he's going to be looking in, I don't know, for like the cheaper deals, I'd say, because that's the way we kind of work and we try and turn these players into world-class players. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I think it all depends on what Klopp does. Because if he's still here, I'm not saying I want to let him go yet before anyone try and kill me. If he's still here, then what's the point of having a sporting director if Klopp is going to stop him from doing his job?
I mean, it's a point. I mean, Liverpool's look. Apparently, I think he scouted. I think Fazal says that he scouted Tuchemani when he was at Monaco. He has got very good talent ID. Now, we've been criticising the club not going for the players like Caicedo when he was really cheap before anyone ever heard of him and stuff like that, and Enzo before he went to Benfica originally, and that fans want them kind of signings in as well as the top draw ones because you're getting quality for the future. So does Paul Mitchell? Is he that name? Paul Mitchell just winds me up.
Yes, man. It should be in EastEnders.
It don't sound right.
Your brothers called Grant and Billy.
it just don't sound right. But do you think, Luke, he could be right for us with that talent ID he's got? He's very good at finding these up and coming superstars and getting them into a team. But his end's right as well, saying that will Klopp listen to him? Will he let him go and get them sort of players?
It's interesting though because I see what Enzi's saying, and obviously at the moment having a new sporting director coming into the club, obviously it's good for the club moving forward. But, that'll be me and Ricky in 5 years' time when I lose my hair. Rick's the one on the left. It's it's going to sound really sort of silly, but he may not listen to him, but at the same time, but is it maybe a person that would actually work under the FSG model as well? See, like, you've got to think of it in that regard as well. Like, there might be some sporting directors out there that Liverpool have looked for, even though, Michael Edwards and Julian Ward have done a very good jobs at Liverpool, since they've been at the club. But really, like, there was a comment there from, I think, 96 News saying Liverpool shop at Poundland. I mean, that's sort of in terms of what Liverpool have always been like as a club over the last, since FSG have arrived at the club. So I think they've got to take that into account as well. Like, have they really got the scout that will obviously want to work under this model as well? And even on top of that as well, hopefully Jurgen Klopp's still at the club next season. If Jurgen Klopp's not at the club, then it could be all changed. Like, not just from the sport, obviously the manager, the coaching staff, the way that we obviously operate transfers for certain managers may want certain, like, there's going to be a lot of change, I think, in the summer. So we'll have to wait and see if he's the right man or not. Hopefully he is. As I said, I haven't really heard too much about him. Obviously, from what you guys have said, like, he's obviously got a good scouting record when it comes to young players coming through. So yeah, hopefully if he does arrive at Liverpool, he does a good job for us.
Ricky, got any thoughts on this?
He screams, "We ain't got no transfer budget."
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
The previous clubs he's been at, they've had no money to spend, in a sense. He's very good with the money he's given. He's like a Michael Edwards type in regards to that. This summer is the biggest summer in a very, very long time for Liverpool in terms of getting the recruitment right, getting the right targets in. I still stand by Klopp walks in the summer. If we don't get a decent budget, if he's not financially backed, I think Klopp walks. And then we are in massive trouble under these Cowboys. So it's going to be interesting. The names that are linked, you've got the one from Salzburg who bought Mane, Haaland, Minamino, and them types of players to Salzburg. He's still there. I think it's Christopher Frond, or however you pronounce it. He's linked to us as well. You've got Mitchell. So it's going to be interesting to see who can come in and tell Klopp to know his role and sit down and let them do the job. Because the last, I want to say, year and a half, it looks like Klopp's decided to bring in who he feels like it. And let's be honest, Klopp's talent ID is not the best. So we'll see what's happening in the summer. And if it's all good, I wouldn't mind Paul Mitchell. He's English. So he might know a bit more English talent that is not overpriced that he could potentially go get from, I don't know, different leagues and different countries. So it's going to be interesting.
Very interesting.
I mean,
just an awkward silence there.
No, it's just, what I was thinking is that if we haven't got the money, like Ricky's saying, would Paul Mitchell actually be a good appointment then? Because he's very good at finding great young talent. And if he's very good at finding great young talent and he's got good talent ID, and if he's good with that financial sort of the way Liverpool going to be set up under FSG, would actually Paul Mitchell be actually a good appointment for Liverpool Football Club if that's the case?
I don't know, man. As I said, I think obviously Klopp has his own way that he wants to play. So all the players, it seems like Mitchell gets are very technical, gifted footballers or players that suits a certain technical passing style team. And Klopp doesn't play that way. So he might go and say, look, these are the players I think we should get. And then Klopp will be like, well, it doesn't suit the system that I want to play. And then we've just got a clash of heads again. And then it's like, who then leaves? Does Klopp leave or does this guy leave? I don't know, man. I don't know. Klopp likes it, obviously, that he's a lot more in charge and he has a lot more power when it comes to transfers. And I think that's the way he wants to keep it. Unless the owners say, no, we're going to get in a sporting director and you have to listen to what he wants or the players that he's going to go out and get. And then Klopp might not even play these players. You've seen it like when they've got players and he's just like, I'm not interested in these guys. And he won't give them game time. So I don't know. As as Ricky said, I think it all depends on Klopp. To be fair, and what I said as well. I think if he stays, I don't know, and if he goes, then at least then I go, okay, cool. We'll probably get this guy's going to change the way we play, and as Luke says, maybe we're going to get a new manager, new coaching staff, and then it'll be all big changes at the club. But I can't see how this guy's going to do well with Klopp being there.
Luke, what do you reckon? If we ain't got the money, is Mitchell perfect?
I just think time will tell, in all honesty. You can clearly see, like Ricky said this, and it is under FSG regime, it is the biggest summer at Liverpool Football Club for the owners. And it doesn't just go down to the owners. Obviously, it goes down to Klopp. It goes down to obviously everyone else around the recruitment team as well. It goes down to, I mean, I'm going to call him Phil Mitchell now, but it goes down to everyone around the football club. This is the biggest summer of the football club for a long, long time, and I just hope that we have got some sort of financial backing this summer, because if we don't, obviously we are in a lot of trouble. But if we don't, and obviously he's got to work with it for a while, whilst at the football club, time will tell. I mean, Michael Edwards was given time, and he was probably one of our greatest sporting directors for a long, long time, for the players that he was able to bring into the football club with a restricted budget. So time will tell. Unfortunately, mate, I'm not sure at the moment. I don't really want to sort of make any sort of prejudgments, but like we'll have to, if he does arrive, then hopefully he does well. But time will tell, mate.
Yeah, exactly. One more name there is out there, and it's someone I've been championing.
Grant Mitchell.
Big old Grant Mitchell, yeah, he could just he has sorted one out. There's one person I have been thinking about, Ralph Rangnick. Now, people might laugh at this, but Ralph Rangnick is very good at this job as a sporting director. I know he ruined United, so I already like him for that. What he did there when he was there. The players he wanted at United are top draw players that went elsewhere before everyone heard of them. He's very good. Forget what he does as a coach and manager. His role, in that sporting directing world, the way he built up Leipzig and stuff like that. The player ID, he's got very good player ID. He's good. He's good friends with Jurgen. He told Jurgen to buy Canate instead of Upamecano. Is he someone we could look at? Someone like a Ralph Rangnick who's got a lot of contacts as well. He's got a lot of contacts, and I know a lot of people really rate him as a sporting director.
Same again. I think it all depends on how much we even get to spend in the summer as well. So these guys are all good at their job, but unless they have money to spend, what's the point of them even coming to Liverpool? But yeah, I wouldn't mind him. Obviously, what he did at United was good. I loved, obviously, nearly tanked their whole team. But and he called out a lot of players and obviously the club as well. But I like him. You're right. His talent ID is up there. And he's obviously good friends with Klopp, so that could work well. And hopefully he's not a yes man, because obviously Klopp has a lot of yes men around him. So hopefully he's not that type of person. But it all comes down to how much money he will get. Because if we're talking about less than 100 mil, I don't know,
man. Look, Ricky, what do you reckon? Just another name out there.
Again, it depends on money. He obviously wanted to bring top players into United when he was there, and he didn't get backed with that. I just think he would be too involved in other things instead of just that, and I think Klopp will suplex him around the training ground. I can't see them two not getting on, because the respect's there, because they all call Rangnick like the godfather of certain things in football, but I just think them two would clash massively, and it wouldn't work for someone.
Good point.
He's the one apparently that they said that, was it Klopp and Thomas Tuchel? They said like Rangnick was the one that was like the mentor sort of thing.
He was like Yoda to Obi-Wan, wasn't he, or something like that? Yeah.
I mean, honestly, mate, I agree with what Ricky was saying. I mean,
they were clear.
I mean, how much do you? how much would he be involved? I think that's the question.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the money side of it, he could do well with it. Obviously, like he probably would want to be financially backed, but I mean, it will start. He'll just be on the training ground, and then the next day, like you'll see, I don't know, 3 or 4 of the cones out, and then all of a sudden, like a bib will be put out, and then like it's just little slow sort of steps, like just to try and sort of get much more involved into the day-to-day runnings of the club. So that's the concern. But as a sporting director, obviously through his experience and through his knowledge of the role, I wouldn't say no. But obviously on the flip side of it, it's how much more involved would he get into the club later on?
Yeah, that's. I mean, do we need someone who can control Klopp's ego?
Yes,
Because
No.
I think you do.
Klopp has a lot of power. I mean, right or wrongly, he deserves that power at the end of the day as well. He's been at the club long enough and won enough stuff, so I'm not going to criticise him for that. But do you need someone who just goes, I look at Julian Ward, and I think Julian Ward's a wet fish. Yeah, I think he's very easy to walk over, and Klopp's just walked all over him. He's just stompled all over Julian Ward. I think Michael Edwards could stick up for himself against Klopp. That's why he lasted so long. But I think Julian Ward couldn't handle Klopp, one-on-one, or how aggressive Klopp can be and stuff like that. So I think that's why Julian Ward left. Do we need someone who's strong enough mentality-wise, just to go to Jurgen, look, this is who we're getting. We're going to get him in. You got to play with him. You got to deal with it. You got to coach him. You got to get him in the squad. This is the way forward we're going to go. Because Michael Edwards stood up for himself to get Mane and Salah through the door, right? He stood up for himself to get that. By what we hear, Pep Linders and Klopp are buying Gakpo and Darwin Núñez and blah, blah, Luis Diaz and all this year. And it's like, Julian Ward's just going, he's been told, right, you've got to go to Portugal. 4:30 plane's been booked for you. That's what it seems like with Julian Ward right now. So do we need someone strong enough, to come in and just go, look, Jurgen, I'm in charge of this. I know I've got a good idea on it. This is the players I think we need to get in for you. Here you go.
Yes and no. So yes, I think it's more he needs someone to take a lot of the workload off his plate, because I think he's trying to be that kind of guy that's hands-on about everything in the club. He feels like he should be a part of everything when no, you're just the manager of the football team. You need to concentrate on just doing your job as the coach or the manager of the team. Look, I'm a big believer in, if a manager wants a player, you go and get it, because he's the guy that at the end of the day that's setting up the team, setting up the tactics, setting up how they want to play going forward. So I'm a big believer, if he wants that player, go and get it. I get sometimes you have a sporting director and they buy players who they think you should play or who they think you should have in your team. But at the end of the day, if Klopp, we could get in a sporting director, he will go, okay, I want to go and get, I don't know, Mbappe for an odd reason. And then Klopp turns around and says, no, I don't like his attitude. I don't want to play him in my team. There's where you get your clash. I'm not saying obviously he wouldn't get in our team, but Klopp likes, he seems to only get players that doesn't have a big ego. And if he does, he kind of knocks that down out of him from an early point. I just don't think he needs someone to control him. I just think he needs someone that's going to say, look, I will take care of this part. You just concentrate on your part. At the moment, he's just too hands-on.
Great point. Luke, would you recommend? Because you said, yeah. Probably goes a bit.
I'm with ends on it, to be honest. Though I was literally going to say as well, like, to take some of the sort of pressure off him. I mean, it's. I think Klopp is, for how long he's been at the football club, I think every year he's now taking much more responsibilities on, and I think it's become more of a, what's the word? It's a chore that he doesn't need to do, sort of thing, in my opinion. And I think you need someone in that position where it's obviously not Klopp's job to do, and obviously he needs to be, what's the word, backed, and given that full support from the new sporting director. So yeah, as I said, mate, it's a hard one. On the flip side, no, because obviously I think we all trust Jurgen Klopp and what he does. So that's where it's very difficult. But I don't want it to turn into, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years down the line, if Jurgen Klopp's still the Liverpool manager, I don't want it to turn into like an Arsene Wenger side of it. You know, when Wenger was in charge at Arsenal for years and years, and every single year he was getting much more sort of stake within the club. He was getting so much more power. I don't want it to turn into that. I want Jurgen Klopp just to solely focus on the crop of players he's got, the coaching staff around, and obviously what results happen on the football pitch. And that's where I think it becomes a bit unstuck. But yeah, there's answers to both. There's pros and cons, obviously, for both of them.
No, I agree. Ricky?
Director of football, for me, you come in, if a manager tells you he wants X, Y, Z players, it's then your job to go get them players. I don't think a director of football should decide what player they bring in and then puts into the manager's team, because at the end of the day, if a manager goes on a run and not winning in 9 games, he gets sacked. So if you're going to sack a manager, in my opinion, you need to sack a manager because he's picked players he wants to fit his team and they ain't worked. If you're managing a team where you've got 6 players in your starting 11 that the director of football's picked out because he wants them, he should be sacked. So it swings and roundabouts. I think it depends on the working relationship between the two. If they've got players that they both agree on, it works much, much better because it's easier to go get them. But whoever Klopp wants this summer, the club just need to go get. Not ask why, just go get him. He deserves that this summer.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. I agree. Klopp deserves the players he wants. There's no doubt about that. There was one comment here before we get to the buy, sell and all that. Klopp needs a number 2 to challenge him. Now, I've gone on record. I think people blame Pep Linders too much for stuff a lot because they haven't got the bottle to blame Klopp. That's how I always look at it. No, a lot. Look, Pep Linders is the coach at the end of the day. He wrote a book. I got the book. Nothing in the book tells us.
I can see it behind you, Jamie.
Yeah, I got the end over. I got the clock. I got the Red Shoe Diaries are behind there as well. I think somewhere. But if you're old enough, you know. But no, Pep Linders, he wrote a book. It's basically a diary of 18 months worth of material. That's all it is. You know, people thought that Ancelotti read the book before they played Liverpool in the Champions League final and realised how to play against us. You know, it's just it's silly. But I will say, I think Pep might not challenge Klopp enough. You know, I don't know if he challenges him enough. You know, you always get the argument, right? Oh, that's a Pep signing, or that's a Pep Linders substitution, or we're playing Pep Linders ball now. Like, if we were happy with the way we played football previously, and it was being successful, and then we changed it to apparently Pep Linders' way, and we've kept winning it, kept with it, and we're not doing successful now, then that's down on Jurgen, in my opinion, because he's the manager. You know, he can change it. But do we need another number 2? Is Pep and Klopp too close? Are they like it's like a brother relationship they have, ain't it? Are they too close? Does he need someone that don't pick him up every day for training, you know, and make him a picnic for lunch? You know what I mean? Because you can tell Pep does it. Does he need a number 2 that's going to go, no, Jurgen? Like Buvac did. Him and Buvac fell out because Buvac challenged him. So have we got a problem there where Klopp doesn't want to be challenged by number 2? What are we reckoning?
No, I think it's really lazy from us as a fan base to blame Pep Linders. Look, he's a number 2. Yes, he's there. He's going to give Klopp advice on substitutions or how we're playing. He's going to have his own ideas as well. I think there was just a point in the season, maybe at the start, midway-ish, or quarter the way through. I think Klopp started doubting himself, and I think he started listening to a lot of what Pep wanted to do, and then there was like an in-between, and it wasn't like a Pep way, and it wasn't like a Linders way. It was just an in-between, and it was just kind of all over the place. I think Klopp's probably gone back to how he normally plays. That's why we've reverted back to the 4-3-3. But yeah, I don't think Linders is an issue, and you're meant to be close with your number 2, because your number 2 is the person you rely upon for everything. You know, if things ain't going right, how can we fix it? We sit down and have meetings to discuss the play. Like, that's what you do with your number two and your coaching staff. Does he need someone that's probably going to challenge him and maybe fresh ideas? Maybe he just needs someone else in the coaching staff with a bit more, I don't know, fresh ideas, a bit more different way of playing, or maybe a different type of players that he can get in to help the team. But I don't think Pep is an issue. And it's just lazy about the book thing, bro. It's not like every team or manager goes and watches a Liverpool game or has all the games been recorded on TV and then they just give it to like, it's just silly, man.
Really I've always
silly.
said that. I never blame Pep. I have a laugh about Pep Linders and all that because I do think Pep loves himself a bit, but go for it. Why not? But, it's because people look at the book and they go, the first chapter of the book is training is our transfer. And when people, people read that and they're like, oh, for goodness sake. But
I think he wrote this with loads of trigger words, man. I think he probably knew what he was doing.
He knew what he was doing. I can't wait for volume 2. The season wasn't that bad. That's what. Luke, what are we saying?
I might sound a bit controversial here, but it might be time for him to go. And I've got reasons. Go for it. I just look at like the elite managers around the years, and even now to this current state. And don't get me wrong, Pep Linders has been an unbelievable number 2 for Liverpool. Under Jurgen Klopp, he's been fantastic. He's been, for our success, that when we won the Champions League and the Premier League, he's majorly a part of that. But I'll always believe in, managers like Sir Alex Ferguson, when he had number 2s like Carlos Queiroz, Mike Phelan, Steve McLaren. He freshened it up a little bit. You look at Pep Guardiola this season, or last few years ago, he let Mikel Arteta go. Mikel Arteta was one of the main reasons why City, again, were dominant for 3-4 years against Liverpool. And now look what he's doing at Arsenal. He's now taken that into management. You look at Jose Mourinho, he had Steve Clark for a long time, and then he changed it and brought in Paul Clement. These number 2s obviously have been brilliant for their clubs, but it's like a cycle for me. And I think at Liverpool, Pep Linders, people in the comments are calling at me, what am I talking about? But Pep Linders, as I've said, I think he's been a brilliant number 2 for the club. It's not fresh enough for me. I do think Liverpool need to do something else. I think we can obviously look at Pep Linders, we can obviously look at Klopp, we can also look at different avenues of why Liverpool have been poor this year. He's not the main reason for it, but we also look at the medical department as well, for example. Why has that not been changed? We need to freshen that up. Why are we getting injuries every single season, the same injuries? Why are we not freshening that up? I think with the coaching staff, I think we always talk about the formations. We keep talking about the tactics. And Klopp obviously talk, as what N says, Klopp will talk to his number 2. He will talk to his coaching staff about what he's doing right, what he's not doing so well. How can we improve it? And I just think it's so similar. It's not fresh enough. I do think, the question would be, who would you rather want to go first, Klopp or Pep Linders? I think Pep Linders needs to go in that regard. If he does stay, and obviously he gets it right, and obviously shuts me up, then fair enough. But yeah, I just look at these previous managers over the years, and it's always worked. And as I've said, I've named Ferguson. Wenger got rid of Pat Rice as well. Pat Rice was deemed as one of the greatest number 2s in Premier League history.
Retired. You didn't get rid of me. Retired.
No, but still, he went.
He retired.
All right.
Different.
So he still left, and obviously Wenger was still successful for a number of years. Mourinho, Steve Clark, Ferguson, Queiroz, McLaren, Mike Phelan, and so forth. So I don't think it'd be the worst idea in the world if Pep Linders did leave the football club. And the problem is, who's a number 2 who would come into Liverpool to take that position to make us go further? And I don't want someone saying Ralph Rangnick, because that would actually cause a lot more trouble. If that was the case.
Yeah, Ricky.
As soon as that book come out, someone should have grabbed all the Pep Linders and started throwing them around the changing room. That book should never have been allowed to come out. You're a number 2. You're not the big dog. You're a number 2. You do as you're told. For me, he has way too much say in regards to players, tactics. You're a number 2, man. Like, just sit there and do what Daddy Klopp tells you, because that's what it is. Like, I think Klopp there might have been a bit of Klopp where he doubted himself this season a little bit, and Pep Linders thought he was the manager for 6 months or whatnot. But I wouldn't say get rid of him because there's not that many top number twos out there. Pep Linders has obviously won the lot with us. But that book just needed to not come out, especially when we weren't doing well. They even allowed, is it the goalkeeper coach? Is it Archibald? Even he's bought a book out.
Yeah,
he's bought a book out this season as well. I mean,
he'll be the throwing coach.
Why did we not let Doris the tea lady bring a book out as well?
Oh, she's got a sick book out.
It's so bad, but people calling for Bolvac to come back. Why? We didn't win nothing when he was there. There's a reason.
See, that's the argument, though, isn't it? Like Pep Linders has won stuff with Liverpool, so that's what I mean. That's when it is. I sound a bit of an idiot when I say, "Oh, he's got to go." But like, obviously, if you look at, I think there was a comment there, Jamie. But Pep's had 4 assistant managers since he's been at Manchester City. I mean, there you go. He's still winning trophies every single year. So surely it does work. It's like a cycle, isn't it? Why is it not happening with Liverpool?
He just needs to realise he's an assistant manager. He's not the main guy. He went to be the main guy in the Farmers League and got sacked in Holland. We then allowed him to come back because we felt sorry for him getting sacked in Holland. So he just needs to know his role and sit down and do as he's told.
I mean, I think Buvac and Pep Linders didn't get on either.
Yeah, that's why Bolvac left, because of Pep Linders.
And Klopp basically picked Linders over Buvac, which, I mean, it's Klopp. We say Klopp can't be ruthless. He certainly can with his mates. He certainly can with his mates. Right, let's get to this keep, buy, and sell, guys. Now, this is where it's going to get tasty, because I'm going to throw players at you. I'm going to throw players at you on the keep and sell part first, and we'll get to the buy bits first after, yeah? So I'm going to go with a player that might split people. It might make you think. It might make the chat think. It might be a bit, Jamie, what you're chatting about. Right. Keep or sell Mo Salah. And debate about it as well. Why? Whatever your answer is, why keep, why sell, why what? Ends, you can go first.
Keep. We gave him the contract now. We might as well just stick by him. No, we gave him the money. We chose to keep him at the club and offer him another 3-year deal. What's the point of selling him now? Look, I guess he's not having the best of seasons. I get it, but he's still scored quite a lot of goals. And look, I know it's not about GA, it's about the eye test, and he's not been performing at all, like properly throughout the whole season. But at the same time, it's just 1 year. Maybe next season he's back to his best. We just have to see how it goes. But I'd keep him.
Luke?
Nah, you got to keep him on terms of. It sounds very easy to say, but like if you're going to let Mo Salah leave the football club, you're not going to. How are you going to replace a player that's going to be scoring, getting 25 to 30 goal contributions a season? I mean, we've let Mane go. Obviously, Mane wanted to go. Obviously, I think we kept him for an extra year. But the only downside, and I'm not saying to sell him, of course not at the moment, but the only thing that we would maybe lean towards selling him is he's probably our only asset left at the club. And where are Liverpool going to generate the big transfer fee from and other players? I don't think we should sell him. I think we should keep him. But that's the only argument I would say that Liverpool could potentially sell him in that regard.
I mean, I'll get Ricky as well. With Mo, everyone in the chat saying this is an easy one, just move on. Is it though? Mo is very frustrating. In fact, he's probably the most frustrating player we have. For me, I don't think Mo Salah has actually played well consistently for 12 months. But yet, he's going to get 30 GA this season. I'm so torn on it because he frustrates me. Every game I watch, we have good build-up play. Mo gets it and he gives it away straight away. And it's so frustrating.
You think we have good build-up play, Jamie? I don't
Sometimes we do. Sometimes we do. And I think what it is, we haven't got the forwards anymore like we used to have that can keep hold of the ball. You know, Mane and Bobby were used to be very good at holding onto the ball, keeping hold of the ball and letting play build up. Mo's never been great at that. That's never been one of Mo's strong points. You know, he tries things a lot and gives away the ball quite a bit. That's always been his case since he joined us. Where Gakpo does that now, Darwin don't, because that's not Darwin's game. He wants to run into space and try and finish and things like that. That's not Darwin's game. So we're asking Darwin to do something he's actually not capable of, which is another weird thing I know Enz is passionate about. And with Mo, I just feel sometimes he frustrates me as a player. He just frustrates me because I know he can go and score goal after goal after goal after goal. But then I can see him in games where he ghosts a lot of games, especially the last 12 months. No, he's definitely not the Mo Salah of when he was 27, 28. It is definitely a little bit of a decline there in his all-round play. But at the same time, he still gets goals and assists. So it's so hard to judge. And people might think, oh, I'm being stupid here. This is ridiculous. He scores goals, Jamie. What more do you want? Sometimes I just want a little bit more. You know what I mean? Sometimes I just want a bit more. Ricky, you have your say, my man.
Sell him if we've got no cash. It has to. If we've got no cash in the summer, my man's got to leave.
He's already asset though, isn't he?
Him and Alisson are the only two you can get money for. So if you got no cash in the summer, Salah has to go.
Mm. Right. I mean, I understand. Right, I would personally. I know I've said everything about Salah, but I would.
I'd keep him.
Yeah, I would keep him.
Yeah, but if we've got no cash, he goes.
I'm going to get to another striker who I think we might sell. So I'd keep Mo anyway because he does score goals. Even though he frustrates the crap out of me, you know, Mo could still get 30 goals a season. That is just the mad thing about Mo Salah.
Jamie, just before you go to the other one,
yeah.
Just to that point, could it be a point where he's now fed up? He's the only one trying to kind of, I don't know, just scoring goals or
he just tries to do things.
Decent numbers.
He tries to do things.
And then he looks around at the rest. He looks around at the midfielders, and he's like, "Okay, none of you guys have even got an assist, let alone a goal." And then he's looking at the other two guys he's been playing forward with, and go, "Okay, they're new, so I'll let them off." Then he looked at his defense and going, "You guys can't even keep a clean sheet." Maybe he's just fed up, man.
But it would help if he could pass the ball. Salah's passing is atrocious. We see it against Real Madrid.
Was it against Real Madrid?
Real Madrid couldn't even slip Darwin Núñez in a free ball. Yeah.
Call it the slipper foot. He has two of them a game. Slipper foot where ball comes to him, he can't even hit the target, bro. It's crazy.
That's where I get frustrated. That's where I get frustrated in him. I was like, fuck.
Do you know what it is with Mo Salah when he's trying to create something for someone? He's already thinking about the next part after that.
It's like a snooker player, isn't he? Like he's thinking three shots in front.
Yeah.
It's like Trent defending. Trent's only thinking about attacking, not defending in the back post. What he can do in the next phase of play. And that's why he gets caught out. Mo's like that attacking. You are right. But no, I think we'd all keep Mo because next season Mo's going to be 31, but he'll probably score 20 goals again. And it's hard to argue. It's hard to argue, really. And he's, look, commercial-wise, Mo Salah is up there with your Ronaldo's and Messi's. People might think he ain't, but he is. You know, his face, put his face on anything, it sells, man. He was on the front cover of GQ, for goodness sake. I mean, you keep him just for that alone. Right, the other striker, I am willing to let go in the summer. This might be just me. It might be an unpopular opinion, but that is Diogo Jota. Now, the reason I say about Jota, I am willing to let him go.
Mm-hmm. Injuries
are playing a part on him. One thing I say about Mo, he frustrates me, but the man's never injured. Jota's injuries are coming a little. I don't know about you guys. I think they're just coming in a bit of concern right now. He's not reliable. He hasn't scored a goal since last April. Yeah, I mean, look, Jesus died and came back quicker than Jota scored goals. You know what I mean? It's getting to that case now, and it's just I don't know what you do with him. I don't know what you do with Jota. We've bought Darwin Núñez and Gakpo now. For me, they play in front of Jota right now. They're the new boys on the block. They're the ones that have just been bought. They're not here to sit on the bench. I think they're here to play. When Luis Diaz is back, if he comes back to normal fitness and playing well, Luis Diaz is probably your number one left winger. So, yes, we need a squad, and that's all great. But I think if good money came in for Jota, if someone bid 60 to 70 million for Jota, can Liverpool actually say no to that? Because you're probably never going to get that again. He's the one. I actually think Jota, as weird as this might sound, I think Jota and Mo are valued at the same price. People might think that's mad. It's because
I see what you mean because of Salah's age as well.
Yeah, it's Jota's age. You could probably get 70 million for Jota and 70 million for Mo Salah, and you'd rather keep Mo Salah. I just think a forward is going to leave in the summer because we're going to have to. We're only going to get so much money, and the rest of it's going to come from sales. And he is an asset you could probably sell. Now you've got Gakpo and Darwin through the door. Yes, we need squad. Obviously, we do. But I'm thinking this from a Liverpool point of view where I know our owners are. And I'm not sure. He's probably the only one I would let go. Anyway, ends.
No. No chance. Look, I get obviously with the injury stuff, but that's probably 90% of our team. The only two people that never got injured in terms of consistently is probably Mane when he was here and Mo. Other than that, everyone else is on the hospital bed week in, week out. So I don't think it's just him that's getting injured all the time. And yes, he hasn't scored since April, but we had a break in the season. Not only that, he was injured as well. So I get it. I get it. He's not playing as much as he normally would have. And sometimes he's not probably playing in the position he wants to as well. The team isn't performing. So I don't think it's just down to him not scoring goals. And yes, I'd say probably in the last couple of games, the header that got cleared, and maybe a couple of little half chances where you think normal fit Jota puts those away. But I would never sell him. There's no way you can, no money, because I don't want to create another problem and then we miss a player like him. Because look, he's probably not in form at the moment, which is cool. I get it. And I get, obviously, you have to look at maybe who the owners are and stuff like that. But nah, man, I don't want to create another issue, sell players, and then when we need them, they're no longer there. And then we're relying on the youngsters that everyone don't like playing all the time. So I wouldn't sell
agree.
him.
I agree. I mean, everyone in the chat said you wouldn't get 70 million for Jota. You'd be shocked. You'd be surprised.
Yeah, someone will pay it.
You'd actually be surprised. The valuation of players now it's changed, man. What did we buy Jota for? 40 odd million?
Well, hardly anything. Was it? We come with a deal with who was the one that went the other way with Wolves? Was it Hoover?
Right back, wasn't it? There.
Hoover. He went for about 10 to 15, and Liverpool were paying like what Thiago with instalments, wasn't it? Like a few.
Yeah, I think his whole round transfer fee was like 40 million quid. So, Liverpool go looked for at least 60 to 70 for that, to get back on. And Jota is a good player. He is a good player. I rate Jota. I know what En's saying about injuries. Everyone gets injured, but he is the one forward. When everyone's back fit next season and we start fresh again, Jota will be the first one injured out of all of them, in my opinion. It's just something not.
Just to add to that, Damien,
he got injured a lot.
Just to add to that, when he was fit, right, or let's say firing, he never played a lot of games, but he still scored 20 plus goals back to back.
Jota's a quality player.
And he wasn't a main starter in the team at that point, but he was scoring goals. So why would we get rid of that? We're already going to lose Bobby, looks like, in the summer anyway. So why would we then get rid of another forward? Unless you're telling me we're going to get rid of him and then bring in someone a better quality, then cool, I'm here for it. But we're just going to get rid of him for getting rid of him's sake. That doesn't make sense to me.
The only reason I say him to go is because, as we said, how many assets we got to sell. And if you're weighing up your assets to sell, and it's between Salah and Jota, they're probably going to sell Jota. That's where I'm coming from here. I don't actually think Jota will go anywhere. I actually like Jota as a footballer. His injuries just worry me a little bit. That's all. His availability worries me. But, when he is in the mood and plays, that's why I said he could be a £70 million player, because we've seen it, He's a decent player, and he's a Portuguese international as well. And he's very highly thought of as well. We got to remember that. That's why I'm saying 70 million ain't a ridiculous price for him. Ricky.
No, for me, he has to stay. We're losing Bobby. We moan when we see the lineups and the bench looks like it's been made up of people that's just been picked off the street. So you need quality on the bench. And we paid, I think it was 40 to 45 million we paid for Jota in the whole deal. The kid went to Wolves at right back for 10 mil. We didn't pay nothing for Jota on that first transfer fee for that season. We didn't pay nothing. So we still owe Wolves money for Jota. So you sell him for 60 mil, you probably owe half of that to Wolves for Jota. So what's the point? You might as well just keep the kid. He's a good player. He's an all-round. He can play across the whole front line. We're letting Bobby go, so he needs to stay for me.
No. Look, I agree. I agree. Look, the only reason I bring it up is obviously because we know our owners, and he's an asset they can sell or make money from. And I think if you're looking at the attackers, he's probably the one they would use. So we're keeping Salah, we're keeping Jota. Obviously, we're keeping Gakpo and Darwin, and Luis Diaz. We ain't got to have to mention him. He's got to stay, ain't he? And Bobby's obviously leaving. Are we happy with that squad depth in the forward areas going into next season?
I mean, don't forget as well, on top of it, and I know we've seen on the odd occasion Elliott play on the right or maybe on the left, but he looks like he's more central in the midfield as now. But don't forget, we've still got Carvalho coming through as well. We've got options there. We've got Ben Doak as well coming through. So like that's where I think the Jota one's interesting, to be honest. Like, I mean, what actually happens if Liverpool get offered the reported 70 to 75 million if Newcastle win it? That's the thing. They won't turn it down. And I just feel that I think surely Liverpool have to be realistic that if we lose Jota in the summer for a big fee and we don't bring in a centre forward, obviously the main area of concern we need to look at is, of course, the midfield. But imagine we go to like games and like we're watching Liverpool on the telly, and then obviously the starting 11 comes out, and we've got one of the best starting 11s in the league in the season. All of a sudden, you look at the bench and you're like, I wish we had Jota. I wish we had Origi. I wish we had Firmino. And that's the problem. I think it's that. It's like we're going to go into games next season. We all are as fans. We're all going to be watching Liverpool thinking, why have we got him on the bench? Why is Jota not there? And I think that's the concern. I think with Jota, for me, mate, I think keep him. But the injuries are a big problem. And like he's had, I think 2, maybe 3 real big injuries now whilst at Liverpool. There was one which wasn't his fault, and that was the Midtjylland game in the Champions League where we'd already won the group, and then he plays him. Like for me, that was down on Klopp. But
that was,
But yeah, that's the only
the
thing.
Second one as well, Luke. The second one against Man City as well. Remember, he played so well in that game, and he was running, and then Klopp made substitution. It was like, everyone I think screamed and said, "You need to take Jota off now. He needs a break." Left him on for the whole game, got injured, bro. So, and that was the second one because he was out for 3 months after that.
Yeah. I mean, look, are we all happy with Liverpool's attacking depth next season with Jota, Diaz, Salah, Gakpo, Darwin, Luis Diaz?
As long as they play in their position as well.
Yeah,
if they stay fit, yes.
That's quality depth. We can't lie there. That is quality depth. Right, let's go. Let's talk about this one. Oh man, I'm going to mention it. People go mad. Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Oh,
yeah, I've gone there. Fuck it. Right,
he shouldn't be on this list, Jamie, bro. I get it. I get why you put him on the list, but he shouldn't be on this list.
The reason I say it, I know he's got 3 years left on his deal, but there's news, that he's not happy with the new offer he's been offered at Liverpool so far for his contract. He probably will go on and sign it. But yes, he's a Scouse boy. Yes, he's a Liverpool fan, right? I was listening to people talking about this the other day about Trent. We can't assume Trent will just stay at Liverpool forever, right? I don't think we can assume it. Because I do believe, I'll go on record and saying this, I believe Trent can play for any top team in Europe. I think he's better than Danny Carvajal. If he went to Real Madrid, Trent would be their number one right back, in my opinion, because of the way he plays going forward. I think Roberto Carlos said before the World Cup, if he was Brazilian, he'd play. What he gives you going forward is too good. If teams come in for Trent is going to be like, you know what? Everyone keeps knocking me all the time. My own fans are starting to knock me now. The England manager hates me. I get ridiculed constantly when we concede goals, and sometimes it's not even my fault. I've not even been involved in that goal. It was on the left-hand side, not on my side, and everyone blames me for it all the time. Could you see it? I don't think it'd go anywhere, by the way. I'm just bringing this up in conversation. That could you see a world where Trent, if an offer came in, like a Real Madrid came in for Trent, would Trent be looking at it like that because of them scenarios that have happened in the last 12 months?
No, he's
not at all.
I'm not even gonna, Jamie. I'm not even gonna entertain this crazy conversation. There's no way there's no way in hell. And I get, obviously, people have been talking about it, and I get emotionally, we're like, he cost us games. I get it, but he's won us more games than he's lost us games.
Oh, I agree.
And I get it, but at the same time, we have a player that has, let's say, one of the best right foots there is at the moment. And in terms of what he can offer us, and we still don't put him in a position to help him. We keep playing, and this is where it's going to be down to Klopp, because I feel at times, yes, I get it. Trent needs to do his job better. I'm not going to make excuses for him. There's times when he needs to defend better. There's times when there's certain things where he switches off and he's not concentrating. I get it. But you have a top player there, and we still don't play him in a position that suits him best, or help him out. Change the shape to help him. And if you help him, it helps us, because we see when Trent is free doing what he can do, we score a lot more goals because he creates a hell of a lot of chances. But when he's not free doing anything, no one else creates anything.
Nope.
And I think at the moment he's just looking at the team going, everyone relies upon me to create, and Mo would do the same thing. Mo looks at the team and go, everyone expects me to score. There's 11v11 on the pitch.
I agree.
And we just blame one or two players, and there's no, Jamie, no chance, mate.
No, I agree.
No chance.
Look,
No chance.
I'm just bringing this up. I don't want Trent to go anywhere before anyone slanders me in the chat. I don't want Trent to go anywhere.
The guy that says he wants to captain Liverpool one day.
I don't ever see him captain. I don't.
He wants to.
He will be. He will be. For me,
I don't know if he's got a mentality to be a captain, but I will say for Trent, I don't know how long Trent could stay playing right back. That is something I think we're going to have to look at.
He's a wing back.
I want Trent to be used to his advantage, if that makes sense. When we're making, this season, Trent ain't got us forwarders as much this season because we're trying to make him a more defensively minded player.
It's not.
I want him in the back three. I think Trent in the back three. I've said this for a while now. Reece James don't look the same player in the back four than he does in the back three, right? And Reece James is a wonderful right back, but he always looks better in the back three. All right, put him in the back four. He does make mistakes in the back four. Kyle Walker looks better in a back three when he's like the wing back for me as well. You're getting the best out of him going forward. I think I've always said it. I look at our team. I look at the players we have in our team, and I always think we can play three at the back. We have the players there. And Trent at right wing back, you get more of the advantage of him going forward. And defensively, yes, he's still got to do his work, but it won't be as bad because he's got that third centre back there that can shift over, and cover him. Then you're not asking a Hendo to do all the midfield defensive work just so Trent can go. You can get a bit more out of him. I just think Trent as a right back in a 4-3-3. Going in from forward next season, even with new players, I still think every team in the country in Europe will target him still. And that's a worry for me. Go on, Ricky. Have you say, my man?
Ricky's shaking his head.
Trent, for me, will finish his career at Liverpool. No way am I selling Trent to anyone for any amount of money. the reason he ain't got forward as much this season is because he's looking in front of him. He's looking at a bloke who looks like he's drowning in quicksand in Fabinho. He's looking at someone that's old enough to be his granddad in James Milner starting at the Bernabeu.
Takes his place.
He's got a captain that's playing right centre midfielder that spends most of his game lifting up his arms, moaning at people, chasing the referee around the pitch, not tracking back. I mean, if I'm Trent and I'm looking at that free midfield, I'm thinking, mate, just what's the point of playing? I mean, midfield's horrific, and that's why Trent's getting exposed, because Salah don't track back and defend him, because Salah's too busy trying to score goals and pretend that he can pass the ball through to certain other members of the team. And then you've got to look at it. The centre back that's next to Trent, in one of the worst defenders I've ever seen play football, in Joe Gomez at times.
Oh God!
Joel Matip can't run, so he can't protect Trent when Trent gets dribbled past, and it's time for Matip to just lay on the doctor's table like he has for most years. I mean, Trent. I know Trent can't defend, but what Trent offers going forward more than what we need in defending. He just needs people that can run around the pitch, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. But my only worry with that comment is that it's like the Fabinho one. You know, Fabinho always looks better when he's got players around him who can run. So they're basically carrying him. And I don't want a DM who needs to be carried because they got legs around him. Do we actually want a right back who can only do the job if he's got a midfielder in front of him defending for him?
Yeah, but that's how we've played.
Yeah, exactly. And that might be the issue. That might be the issue. That might be the issue. You know, should we play a different way that suits Trent so we don't have to do that?
Jamie, I just think we need to just play a formation that suits the whole team.
Yeah.
At the moment, we play the system that we play suits probably Mo the best, maybe. Everyone else is just there to help out because he's the one that we rely on to get in those areas and score goals. But when we change it to, you're right, if we change it to a back three, and everyone probably looks at it as a defensive shape, it's not defensive. It will allow people like Robbo and allow people like Trent to get into those areas to go and do what they do best. And then you're going to still have your Mo's, your Gappos, your Nunez's in and around the box causing havoc. But Klopp will never change it to that, so it's only wishful thinking.
Yeah.
But we just need sorry, go on, bro.
Do you know what it is with it? Like, people come for Trent like no man's business. All right, he gets spun by very quick, skillful wingers. When are we going to start talking about Robbo? Robbo can't defend either. I ain't having no one tell me Robertson's a top defender. He ain't. He's the same as Trent. He bombs forward.
He's better than Trent. But I get.
He's not. He gets spun by silly players as well.
Every fullback gets spun. Look, I've not got a problem with a world-class winger doing a fullback because it's got to happen. You know, Vinny Jr., I don't care who your right back is. Vinny Jr. is going to have success eventually against any right back. You know, actually, against Real Madrid, I don't think Trent played that badly against Vinny Jr., to be fair, against Madrid.
Second leg, he got absolutely annihilated, Jamie.
I thought
the first leg, we look at, obviously, Gomez made a few mistakes and he was sort of hung to dry. No, I thought but the thing was,
Konate bailed him out a few times.
Yeah, that's where I think it laid off him a little bit. I think because Konate was next to him. You know, Trent plays better at right back when Konate is alongside him compared to Gomez and Matip. That's no debate on that.
No, I agree.
I mean, me personally, obviously, I'm just going to keep it short and sweet. Keep him, but you know what? For the last 10 games of the season, I just feel we've now got nothing to lose. Like, in terms of our challenge for top four, we've got no midfield options. Just try it out. Why not? Just try it out. See if it'll work. We want new different tactics and new formations. Do you know what? I'm not being funny. Like, just sling old granddad at right back, as Ricky says, because he keeps taking his place, and like just give it a go. Put Trent in a midfield position because he wants to get forward. He wants to create chances. He wants to get closer to Salah and Nunez, and I want to see Trent in more forward positions and want to see him getting the ball into those attacking areas. And, he's able to shoot as well. He's able to shoot from those sort of long range distances as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd get him in those positions. Just
Trent
give it a
should score
go.
more. Trent should score more goals. He's got the quality. For me, Trent's got the quality to get like 10 goals a season, in my opinion, if he plays further forward. Trent's got that quality. He can shoot from outside the box. He's got that. He's got a great right foot. I think Trent's left foot is extremely underrated. He's very good both feet. Very good player. No, I think with Trent, what we need with Trent is more competition in his place. So he just don't get lazy and thinks he's going to play every week. That's also an issue. He needs proper, where he can come out and rest, and you have a decent right back that comes in and, it just perks you up a little bit. When Robbo was having a damn bit in form and Tsimikas came in and played really well, Robbo decided he's like, I've got to pick myself up a little bit. But
even when he's performing, Klopp still doesn't play him.
That is true.
So it makes no sense. Man, it's crazy.
Right, let's go on. Let's talk about some players that probably should leave. Are we all up for Joel Matip leaving this summer?
Yes.
Ends.
I don't mind as long as you're going to replace him with someone that's
someone
half decent.
I think
because there's no point of getting rid of him and then you're bringing in like a youngster and then I've got to wait 2 years before I see him play a game.
Yeah, I agree. I think we are looking at a centre back this summer. I do think we'll buy a centre back this summer as well because Nat Phillips is going to leave. Joe Gomez is going to stay.
Joel Gomez. Both
Joel Gomez.
I'd fly Gomez anywhere around the world, mate. Whoever wants him.
I think Gomez will stay because he'll be part of the homegrown, and he's on
signed a new deal as well,
and he's on a massive contract. Exactly, he's on a massive contract.
As long as he don't play more than 5 games next season, he can stay.
He's got 5 years on his deal. Apparently, we're looking at that. We're looking at that guy from Napoli, ain't we?
Quick one, Ricky. Was you saying this when he helped us win the Premier League?
Of course not.
Yeah, all day long. I don't think Joe Gomez has never been a top level defender.
Because I know throughout the whole year, no one was getting past him and Virgil the whole season.
Because Virgil van Dijk made him look like Paolo Maldini.
You can't. You can't.
I just want to add to that point. I just think Gomez that season, all right, he had a good season. Of course he did. He's next to Virgil van Dijk. But the only thing I'll agree with Ricky on this part is every single team that has won the Premier League, that's Man United, Chelsea, they've had one great centre-back. Like, look at Man City, for example. Vincent Kompany was unbelievable. Who do you have alongside him? Joleon Lescott. Joleon Lescott won a Premier League with Manchester City. I'd never deemed him as a world-class centre-half or a great centre-back. Gomez is a good defender. I think if you're going to put him in the Premier League, he fits in the style of an Aston Villa or a West Ham.
Quick one though, Luke. I get it, but at the same time, you're saying, okay, Virgil makes you good. That's fine. Great point. But at the same time, he gets targeted a lot more than what Virgil would. So that means he has to do twice the work. He has to do twice the work. And if he done well, and he did well that season, we won the Prem. And he got targeted a hell of a lot of times, and he passed the test. So I get he's not been performing well, and I get it. But at the same time, I don't get throwing players under the bus just because it suits a narrative. I don't get that.
He's one of the worst centre-backs in the Premier League.
I won't go that far. But I think
there's loads better than Joe Gomez. Nat Phillips is better than Joe Gomez.
That is pushing.
Nat Phillips cross turned Ibrahimovic at the San Siro. You don't see Joe Gomez whacking out them skills, do you?
Would you say Reece Williams is better than Joe Gomez as well?
Mate, Reece Williams ain't even a footballer. Don't get me started on that.
So Gomez isn't the worst.
My man won the raffle to get a game at Anfield. No way is he a centre half.
He went to Blackpool, and Blackpool fans were trying to give him back. Right, it was just so.
Yeah, no, that's all I'm asking. As long as you was throwing that same weight around when we won the Prem, that's fine.
I think with your point as well, I think like with, on our channel, Jamie will tell you, we have criticised Van Dijk, even when Van Dijk, even when we won the league, before we was doing all this, we criticised Van Dijk for performances. Obviously, we all know why Van Dijk doesn't get criticised as much because he's got this aura, and obviously, like it's Virgil van Dijk, and he's still deemed as one of the greatest centre backs in the world, and deservedly so for the career at Liverpool he's had. But I don't know, it's a difficult one. Isn't it? I think with Gomez, the only time I feel from he picked up 2 injuries whilst playing for England. and they were quite lengthy injuries, and it does affect players coming back. Like Van Dijk's definitely not been the same since he's come back from his long injury. We forget about that as well. We should.
I'm keeping Joel Matip over Joe Gomez. If one
Gomez
stays, one goes.
Gomez is more profitable. Like Matip, he'll go abroad for what, 5 to 10 million. I mean, Gomez, you're looking at Gomez. If Liverpool look to sell Joe Gomez, you're looking at minimum 30 million for a Premier League club.
Yeah, I agree. Right, let's talk about another player. Let's talk about a midfielder attacker. Carvalho. What do we do with Carvalho? Because, look, what I find weird about Carvalho, Carvalho is quite one-dimensional. He looks like he can only play that 10 role, right? He only can play that 10 role. Jurgen Klopp at Liverpool doesn't play the number 10. Jurgen Klopp at Mainz and Borussia Dortmund played the number 10, right? And Klopp at Liverpool, he doesn't. He plays 4-3-3. For me, I've said it for a while now. I think Klopp landed into something, luckily, in a way, kept with it for the last few years, and is now a bit reluctant to change it. I've always said that. I think when Robbo came in, I don't think he thought he was getting the player that Robbo turned out to be. When Trent came in, Trent was a midfielder in the under-21s, and he asked the academy coach back then to get Trent to coach him as a right back, because he wanted him in his team, but as a right back. So they started coaching Trent as a right back. Nathaniel Clyne got injured. Trent had to come into the Liverpool team a lot earlier than he was meant to. But then he was so good, he hasn't looked back. And he fell into something where he's got these two fullbacks that are just doing ridiculous stuff creativity-wise. And he's like, I don't need this number 10 because I've got this formation that's sort of working. And to be fair, it was. Now we've got a Carvalho in who looks like he's very limited in where he can play. He's not quick enough. Limited. He's not quick enough to play as a wing position for my liking anyway. No, that's just my liking. Might not be everyone's liking, but I don't think he's quick enough in a wide area in today's game. I think it'd be fantastic in that number 10 position, but we don't play that way. You got him and Harvey Elliott. They're the same age. Came from Fulham's academy, roughly the same sort of ceiling. Harvey Elliott plays every single game. I think he's appeared in every game this season more than any other player. And he plays multiple positions. He's played left wing, he's played right wing, he's played in that midfield area. What we're doing with Carvalho, because Klopp don't seem to rate him the same as he rates Harvey Elliott, and he's giving Harvey Elliott chances. What we doing with Carvalho?
People say Harvey Elliott's ceiling is high, bro. If he carries on playing him in his midfield area, he'll just be stagnant and stay the same. I don't think he's improving as a player. But with Carvalho, I think the manager is limited. You don't have players in your team and you don't play system that suits the players. Look, if you're saying he's limited as a 10, that's fine. But then when you're going to bring him on, why not change the shape to suit the player you're bringing on?
Certainly.
What is it that hard to do so? If we're in a losing situation and what we were doing clearly isn't working, and you bring him on, why bring him on in a position that no one was getting anything out of? Change the shape, put him in his natural position, and then let him go and enjoy himself and play well. I think the manager is limited. I don't think Carvalho is limited. He's a very, very good footballer. He's just not been given the opportunity. And the longer this continues, then I'll just say sell him. And I would only sell him based on, I just think it's better for him and he can go somewhere else and actually show what he's about. Because he killed this champion. And I know the championship isn't the Premier League. I get it. But he was killing teams there. He's a very good player. He played well when he played against Man City in the Cups. Scored goals against them as well. He played well in the Wolves game. Obviously came off of an injury. And then from there, we just not been giving him any minutes. And I hate the thing that Klopp is doing about playing players out of position. How does players improve by playing out of a position? Some will say, oh, yeah, you can learn to do. No, you don't, because you lose your identity as a player. And then what then? Because Carvalho now is sitting in the team going, okay, what do you want me as a right centre mid, left centre mid, an 8, a 6, a 7? What do you want me to go and do? But I'm naturally good at playing as a second striker or a 10.
No, I agree.
I blame the manager for this one.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird with Carvalho because where I say he's limited, it's because there's nothing wrong being limited as well. Carvalho's a number 10. That's where he should play. That's where his career should be. He should be in that attacking third of the pitch, linking play, being creative, that sort of thing. Give him a free role. There's nothing wrong with that. But we just don't play that way unless Klopp's going to change it. But then if we're going to change it and change that way and play a 10, I think Gakpo plays there. So if Gakpo plays the 10, Carvalho's still not playing. So, Luke, what do we do with Carvalho?
Sack the manager.
And you want to mute him?
He's a 10 though, isn't he? I mean, Liverpool don't play 10s. We tried converting him to a left winger. We tried converting him to a right winger. I mean, I've seen him once for Liverpool players at 9. That's just how bad we tried to get him to learn a different position. But I like the kid. I mean, to be honest, I know a few Fulham fans they deemed him the best up and coming academy graduate out of their club, and that includes Harvey Elliott. That includes other players that they've had coming through, like the likes of, I don't know, Ryan Sessegnon over the years, that these players have come through their academy, and Carvalho is the one that everyone at Fulham said was the best one to come out of their academy. It's one of those, isn't it? Like, he just doesn't suit a Liverpool style. If Liverpool were offered the same amount or maybe slightly more, because I have every faith in Liverpool in the terms of, we could have like an average player around our squad, for example, but we could still make a big profit. We've done it for so many players. Like, remember, didn't we sell? Was it Solanke and Jordan Ibe for 35 million twice? We sold Ryan Brewster for 25 million as well.
We don't sell anyone now, though.
No, and I think that's the only thing that puts me away from it. Like, I think if Liverpool were deciding to sell, we could potentially work at that sort of around them sort of marks. But as you said, we don't sell players now. We just let them go on freeze, and obviously let them go on. If we do sell them, we let them go on low deals. But I like the kid. I think he's a real good talent. And if Liverpool do decide to change the formation, I would say loan him again, maybe to a low-end Premier League club, maybe back to Fulham, for example, if you're going to go that. I mean, Fulham are mid-table roughly now, but I'd say Fulham would be a good place for him to go back to. It's such a tough one with him. But I right now, I would say loan him out. And if Klopp or the coaching staff have got instructions for the loan club to then say to that club, we want him to play the majority of games in those positions, then obviously see what can go from there. But yeah, I would say loan right now with Carvalho.
Fair enough, Ricky.
Yeah, I think a loan move. Loan him out, because I think with a year of development we've killed in the kid. Loan him out potentially to. It depends like who Liverpool want to buy in the summer. Like, you could use that sort of. You can loan Carvalho as sort of a deal sweetener for certain teams. So yeah, no, I wouldn't sell him. I'd keep him. He's very young, so yeah, he just needs to play games. At that age, you just need to play. So yeah, loan him next season.
That's fair enough. It's fair enough. Right, let's go to buying. Let's go to some players we might buy. So obviously the word about the Bellingham stuff won't go away. If it's David Lynch, is it, who came out today and said, that story you heard from Ornstein, is it? That was an opinion piece. It was his opinion. Like we spoke about yesterday.
That come from Dortmund.
Yeah. What's right? Give me your percentage on if we buy Jude Bellingham ends. What's your percentage of us buying Jude Bellingham?
Firstly, I just want to say David Ornstein, that was a bit lazy in terms of what he was writing.
It was.
I can't believe we fell for it.
Yeah.
We already know that he's going to be overpriced, and we already know that with the owners we have, we might not spend the money and get him. The percentage about getting Bellingham, it all depends on the owners, man, if they're going to give us the money. I'm at 60%, 67, 70%, because I feel the negotiations in terms of personal terms, that's done. I think that won't be a problem. And I think the player wants to be at Liverpool. It's just whether or not the club or the owners want him as much as he wants the club. And that's where it's going. I'll go 70%.
Luke?
75.
Ricky?
99.9.
Jesus. I think we put in too much. I think we put in too much work to let this go. This is the problem,
mate. There's no way. There's no way Liverpool's management, ownership people would let these Liverpool players be seen out with Jude Bellingham on a regular basis, regardless if they're friends. You will not be. Liverpool would shut it down. Like, we've seen Liverpool shut down transfer rumours in the past, like for certain players, but they've let this one run the whole way. There's a few people saying this deal was done in December, and I still believe that. I think the deal was done early doors. A lot. Dortmund have put that piece out to Ornstein yesterday to sort of try and show a bit of face with their fan base in terms of they're trying to get the best deal. They also fed that to Ornstein to show Liverpool that there is other teams wanting Jude Bellingham. We want more money up front than what you're potentially offering. But it's done. Jude Bellingham's going to be in a red shirt in the summer for Liverpool. People just need to relax with it. It's happening. If it don't, you won't see me on YouTube again. I'll be retired.
I think your words carefully.
Luke will be doing the channel going forward.
I've got to explain carefully and slowly why you're not going to be appearing though.
But
to be fair, he did say 99.9, so he's covered himself well.
There's a little caveat there. Big up the show who's new to the channel. Big up to you, my friend. Thank you very much for joining us today. Look, Jude, I know everyone's saying like the Mbappe situation. The Mbappe thing got out of hand by people making shit up. The only reason the Mbappe rumour came up, one, Mbappe said he plays with Liverpool when he plays FIFA, so everyone had an erection, right? Two, is that his mum is a big Liverpool fan for some reason. Mbappe's mum's just a big Liverpool fan. And wasn't she at the World Cup final with a Liverpool shirt on as well? Or something like that. She's just a big Liverpool fan. So as a present, as a gift to his mum, he got Klopp and John W. Henry and all that. And they chatted to his mum for a while. And someone got a picture of that. It got online. Everyone started saying stuff. Mbappe, Liverpool's on and all this sort of stuff. It's like, no, it's just, it got a bit out of hand. When it's Bellingham stuff, you know, when we got people in the know coming out and saying stuff like this, you know, it has to happen. It has to happen. Look, I think Borussia Dortmund, look, I remember when they said no, they wouldn't sell Jadon Sancho unless it's for a particular price. A year later, didn't they go down like 20 or 30 million in the price they eventually sold him for? So I think Dortmund can be bullied into selling Jude Bellingham, and I think they'd be bullied into. I think Liverpool can do a deal with Jude Bellingham where you don't have to pay everything up front. I think Liverpool can put like 60 million down for Jude Bellingham and the rest of it installments and bonuses and a structured deal, which Liverpool are very good at. I ain't got a problem with structured deals. I know a lot of people have. I haven't really got a problem with
as long as the player signs for your club, man. I don't care
I mean, if we seriously get Jude Bellingham on a structured deal, is anyone really going to moan about doing it on the structured deal?
Less, mate.
No,
you've seen Chelsea all summer. They've been doing structured deals.
Yeah, it's like the 600 million they apparently spent. Their outlay for 600 million over 2 transfer windows is something like 70 million.
Like no teams pays full transfer fees no more. It don't happen like that.
No, the only team that does is Man City.
Yeah.
And that's how they get players cheaper. Because they play everything in one lump sum. I know for the Fran Torres deal, was it? I believe they paid the Fran Torres deal in one lump sum. That's what I read anyway. I might be wrong. But they paid him in one lump sum. That's why they got him cheaper, because someone else was going after him. And they were asked for more. You know, and City came along, got him cheaper because they paid the whole thing up front. So, yeah, that helps. I know Ricky, Luke, you got to go in a minute. So let's get some players we might buy. Give me a yes or no. Gravenberch.
Yes.
Yes.
No.
Right. Firstly, yeses. How much and why?
35 to 40 million. I reckon we'll get him for Gravenberch. Technically, very good player. I think obviously he's lost a year going to Bayern. He hasn't really played or done anything. But if you watch him from Ajax, quality player, man. Very young, energetic. He's like in the Jude mold. I'm not trying to compare them as players, but in terms of that mold, athletic, tall, strong, technically there, can shoot, pass. He's got it, but obviously we haven't seen that at Bayern because he hasn't been playing. And it's a bit difficult to get in that Bayern team, to be fair. Got top ballers everywhere around the pitch. And he's young as well.
Yeah.
I think you could get him slightly cheaper. I think between 25 to 30. But again, as Zen said, I think he's got a lot of energy around his midfield. He's a big physical midfield player. He's able to retain possession. He's able to pass. His Ajax days, he was very good. Just unfortunately, he's not able to really push himself into the Bayern Munich team right now as well. I mean, not many people can at the moment, to be honest, the way they've been playing. So it's difficult for him. I think that's where he gets left away and sort of been forgotten about. But obviously, if you just look at his Ajax days, I think he was a very good standard midfield player. And it's something that Liverpool desperately need right now. And that's a midfielder with legs, a bit of leadership as well in him. You could sort of see in the future. So I wouldn't say no, but obviously there are other midfielders out there that I think would be in front of him anyway.
And he covers the 6 and the 8 as well. So if we need that, Flacco isn't cutting it, can put him
there. Ricky?
He just reminds me of Naby 2.0. I can't deal with that type player again.
Fair enough. Right, let's give you another one. The one that everyone wants to know. Mason Mount. Now, obviously, this has split the footballing world. There's people that are not even Liverpool fans or not even Chelsea fans that can't stand him. Then there's a lot of people that think he's actually a decent footballer. You know, give him the chance, he might actually look okay. What are we saying about Mason Mount, guys? Because this is the player I feel is very gettable for Liverpool if they really want to get him. He looks like Chelsea. There's rumours actually today, I think, that Chelsea might give him a new deal, which I find a bit mad because they're also going to go and buy players. So our man players, I don't know. He's changed his agent. His agent is now, I think, the same agent as Virgil van Dijk's.
Yeah.
What do we reckon? Ends?
It's not a tough one, to be fair. He's a Champions League winner. Look, obviously, change of manager. Tuchel left or got sacked, and then he just fell out of the team. Obviously, the new managers haven't got the best out of him yet. Why not, man? Why not? It's better than what we currently have. Unless you're going to tell me that we're going to get if we're going to get all the top players that we want to go and get, then that's cool. I won't take him. But if he's an option, he's homegrown. He's used to the Premier League. He can get goals from midfield. I don't see why people hate him. I honestly don't. I think he's a good football player. But just my opinion, I guess.
I think people hate him as well. He's got one of them faces, if you know what I mean. He's got, you know what I mean? No, he's got one of them faces where you think he looks a bit smarmy and a bit cocky and a bit arrogant, don't he? And I think people don't like that when people don't think he's got anything to be arrogant and cocky about. And I think that's why. There's a lot of hate for him as well. That's what I've been reading anyway. Luke, your thoughts on him?
I like him. I think he's Premier League proven, as Zen said. I think he's got good ball retention skills. I think he's got good energy as well. I think he's a very versatile player as well. I think he can also play in an attacking area as well if we are light in those attacking areas, which obviously at the end of the day, you know, like we may not need him for that sort of time, but the price tag is the one that I think everyone's being put off by. I think the problem is everyone's being put off by, it's going to be 60 million or 65 million. That's why I think a lot of Liverpool fans are probably turning away from it. I think what a lot of Liverpool fans do seem to forget as well is, I think I mentioned this on our channel last night, Rick, as well with Jamie, is Jurgen Klopp's never really gone and bought superstars. You know, these likes of, you know, when we bought Gini Wijnaldum, I guarantee you there was a lot of Liverpool fans, including myself, which would have said, no, I don't want Gini Wijnaldum. I bet there was fans out there that didn't think Sadio Mane was probably going to be the best thing because he was from Southampton. I didn't think there was. Do you know what I mean? That's the point I'm trying to make. Mason Mount isn't a superstar. He's not a world-class player in my opinion. He's a good player that I think that could work in a Jurgen Klopp system. And I think that the main thing as well is he knows the league. He knows the Premier League. You wouldn't have to worry about a player coming in to settle into a new league, a new environment, obviously a new environment with a new team, but like a new sort of way of playing in the sense like it could be similar to his sort of ability. So if he was available for a good price, I would give it a good opportunity. And what is he, still 23, 24? Like he's still relatively got his best years in front of him. So, and if Jude Bellingham comes into Liverpool, Mason Mount's played with him in England as well. They've linked up well. I don't see why there would be a problem.
Ricky?
Yeah, all day long. He'd be the new Gini Wijnaldum type player. Holds the ball well. Will run his socks off for 90 minutes. He's not going to light up the pitch, but he'll do a job with his energy. He'll allow other players to go flourish with the ball in the front line. We need a homegrown player because we're letting 3 go this summer, so you need to bring another one in. The price has to be right for me, though. I'm not taking any of this nonsense. Chelsea want 50 to 55 million. The geezer's got 1 year left on his deal after this summer. You take 30 mil and you'll like it, Todd Bowley. Because
Daddy Bowley.
Yeah, Daddy. That's what Adam calls him, Daddy Bowley, because he splashes all this money and he thinks he's playing Football Manager. But you'll take the 30 mil from Liverpool for a player that don't want to be at your club, and you'll just take it because otherwise you're losing for 3 in a year to Liverpool anyway. Because for me, he's got his heart set on Liverpool this summer.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind Mason Mount. I've said it before. Even as a squad player coming off the bench, I look at our midfield options off the bench at the moment. I think he's a step up from some of the players on the bench right now. So he's got energy. He knows how to keep the ball well. He protects the ball reasonably well. He can
Scores
run.
goals as well.
He can get the odd goal here and there. I mean, it's not the end of the world. I can understand why people are thinking we don't need them players now. We need these established players. And I get it. Everyone's got opinions, man. Everyone's got opinions. But there's one more before Luke goes. I just want to get his opinion on this one. So we've been linked with Raheem Diaz today.
Today?
You want the City let go?
Yeah, he's at Real Madrid.
He's
at Real Madrid right now. He's an attacking midfielder.
To be fair, out of all the AC Milan players, I wouldn't be looking at Brahim Diaz.
He's currently on loan at AC Milan. He's a Real Madrid player, isn't he? He's on loan.
I mean, if you're looking at AC, obviously I know, as you said, he's not a full-time AC Milan player, but if you're looking around AC Milan, I wouldn't mind the sort of looks of Tonali. To be honest, I'm just looking at midfield options.
We can't get Tonali, bro. He's one of the one I'd love, but we ain't
that's the thing. Like, there's only a few. Obviously, if you keep it around the Milan clubs, obviously Nicola Barella's always mentioned as well. I don't think that'll happen, but not for me, Jamie. I think the attacking options. I think Liverpool next season have got a strong depth, and I just think Real Madrid would want a massive premium for Brahim Diaz. Obviously, they spent quite a few. I think what was the fee that they actually spent with Manchester City as well? It must have been.
Yeah, it was a decent amount.
Yeah, so like they wouldn't be letting him go for nothing. But as 96 says, like he's actually good in the 10. Liverpool don't play 10s, so like it's the same scenario. Like the last 10 that really played well for Liverpool over the Klopp era was probably Coutinho.
Yeah, we were playing some good football then.
But we obviously don't play that system no more.
Shock horror. Right, Luke, I know you got to jump, my man. Thank you for coming in.
Nice one. Cheers, Luke. Come on, mate.
Nice
Luke,
one, mate.
There's like 150 people in here. Let them know where they can find you.
Yeah, guys. Obviously, Rick's today, but obviously, I know there's a few of you in the comments that have been saying you all love Ricky. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I get it all the time on the channel anyway. So, guys, come and check us out. 1892 Reds TV. We're on the road to 750 at the moment on the subscriber count. So please, if you haven't already, come and subscribe over to our channel. We're doing a lot more content over the international break. Of course, we've got the rest of the season previews, reviews, and all of the rest of the stuff. So obviously, if you want to come and check me and Ricky out a lot more, come and subscribe over to our channel. And of course, smash the like button on this channel, guys, obviously in this video. And of course, go and check out Endsman TV as well. We'll definitely get you on the channel at some point this season as well.
Love to, man. Love to.
But yeah, thanks, Jamie. Rick, I'll speak to you very soon as always.
No worries. See you later, my man. Ricky is best. Big up, Luke. Love Luke. Right. So, more players coming in. So, obviously, we need midfielders. That is the one place we need. How many players, realistically, do you guys think Liverpool will go by this summer, and in what positions? Ends.
I think we definitely need a defender. I don't know if it's a centre back or someone that can play centre back and right back. We need about 3 midfielders, so that's 4. I don't think we need anyone in attack, but probably give one of the youngsters that opportunity there, because we would have 5 if Bobby leaves, or he is leaving, so we'd have 5. So I think 3 midfielders, a defender. I think we should be okay. But the midfielders have to be top quality. Can't just be random 3. If you're telling me Jude, Gravenberch and Mason Mount or whoever else you want, guys, say whoever else you want to throw in the mix, need top level midfielders, a defender, and I'm good. So probably 4 players, I'd say.
Yeah, Ricky.
I think you need 3 midfielders, a backup right back, a centre back. So that's 5. I'd even potentially go at a push 4 centre midfielders, because you're losing Naby, you're losing Ox. I'm hoping Milner sees the light and just calls it a day. That's 3 gone. You then I don't know what we're doing with Curtis Jones.
He needs a loan, don't he? I think he needs a loan to the Premier League.
We're going to get to in a minute.
It depends what happens. I think you need 2 centre midfielders to come at the club that are going to start, which for me would be Jude and Mount will come in. I don't think you need to get rid of Cement at DM as a backup. You could put Fabinho as a bench player. Go sign a DM like Ugarte, someone like that. You need a DM to replace No Legs. And then so that's freestyle there, and I think you just potentially need one more because of the players we have in midfield that will be squad options that ain't the best, and pick up silly little injuries here and there.
Yeah, I mean, look, the way I look at it, right? I think they look at I think they look at Stefan Bajcetic as a new midfielder. Right.
Oh yeah, I forgot we had him in class.
So I think they already, because I don't think Stefan Bajcetic was ever going to play for Liverpool. I think he got lucky, he got in the team, and then Klopp's like, shit, he's a good player, right?
He's a centre half.
He's a proper good player.
It's crazy.
He's a centre half.
But he can play. I mean, Vinny Company, a midfielder that went to a defender.
Yeah, he's a DM.
Yeah, but he does look like a midfielder to me, Stefan Bajcetic. He does look decent in that position. Liverpool looked at him and went, you guys know it's true in the chat as well. That's why you're all laughing. That they've looked at him and went, right, that's one of the midfielders. So we only need to buy 2. I'm telling you right now, they're looking at Stefan Bajcetic and going, right, that's one of them. So we just need to buy 2. So that's 3 midfielders, right? I think Milner stays. I have a feeling Milner stays. There's too much talk at the moment that he's pondering a new contract. I won't be surprised if Milner stays. For me, if Milner stays, Hendo's got to leave. We can't go into the 2023-2024 season with Milner and Hendo started this midfield squad still.
Brexit midfield, isn't
it? We just can't. So, if Milner stays, Hendo's got to go. You know, one of them has to go. You know, it's like, choose. I think we should just give them weapons and they got to fight out, and whoever loses.
do you know how mad it is, Jamie? Right, I watched the last Liverpool game, and I kid you not, there was a chance when Fab received the ball in midfield, and all he had to do was just do a Cruyff turn and run through the gap. The guy just panicked and nearly tripped over the ball. I couldn't believe it. He just panicked on the ball. He had so much time and space. He ended up panicking and tried to find somewhere else. And the pass he tried to give was out to Trent. I was like, that could have been intercepted. All you had to do was receive it in Cruyff turn or receive it on the back foot and run through the midfield.
Yeah.
I've had enough of these guys, man.
Fabinho for me has to leave, but I don't know if we're going to get a number 6 coming into the club. I don't think we're looking at number 6s next season.
You forgot Tyler Morton as well. Could he be one
Big
of the
Tyler's
other?
back. Big Tyler's back. I literally do think they're looking at Stefan Bajcetic as that, not as a number 6, but someone who can play double pivot with Fabinho, and then they're looking at 2 other midfielders in the transfer market. One of them, I wouldn't be surprised if it's Mason Mount and Jude Bellingham. It wouldn't shock me. Defenders we need. If we are looking at letting Matip and Phillips leave, we can't leave ourselves short there. Who's the centre back you'd be interested in? I know a lot of people are talking about Gabardol, right?
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I think he's highly overrated.
Wow.
And that don't mean he's a shite player. You know, when you say overrated, everyone thinks he's a crap player. You're calling him crap by overrated. Say he's just a little overrated right now. Doesn't mean he's a crap player. He had a good World Cup, yeah, but so did Lovren. I don't see anyone talking about Lovren. All right, Lovren was as good as him in the World Cup. All right, I think if you 100 million on Gabardol is just for us. I just think that's madness. You know, you got the guy at Napoli. Is it the Korean bloke at Napoli? I can't remember his name now.
Kim.
Yeah, he's got a buyout clause of 44 million. Someone like him to come in, I think would be decent. What sort of defender do you think we'll look at though?
I think.
Or we go look at a young guy.
I think Vardy, because he's only 20. I think he has so much time ahead of him. So the 100 million makes. I don't think he'll go for that anyway. I just think that's just the number someone's threw out there. Because when Chelsea were looking at him, and they were looking at it around the region of like 65, and that was euros. It wasn't million. It wasn't pounds.
It's because of the Fofana thing. Didn't he go for 85 million to Chelsea? It's mad.
I get that, and obviously your value is not because of how good you are, it's to how the club values you.
You as a player.
You know, they don't want to leave. Yeah, they don't want you to leave, so they're going to put whatever the price tag is. He's a player that I think we should probably consider getting. If not, you got Timber as well. That's another. He can play right back and he can play centre back.
Play DM as well.
He can play multiple positions. So he's another player. I think someone put in the chat, might have been Kay, put Tomori as well from AC. Mm-hmm. He's a good shout. He's a good shout for a centre back. But yeah, look, we just need to go and get someone. I don't think we need to get a ready-made one, but someone that's going to be able to come in and learn. And I think he's a good player, man. For his age, he's only 20. Centre backs tend to get good when they get to like 30. And he's only 20, so he's got years ahead of him, man, to learn the game. And he's left-footed, man. I need to see a left-footed centre back at one point at the club again. So let's see, man.
Who's your favoured centre back, Ricky? If you had to go and buy one,
I think there's 3 that we need to be looking at: Gabardol from Leipzig, Antonio Silva from Benfica, and is it Inacio from Sporting?
Yeah.
They're trying to get him on a new deal with a 70 mil release clause. But they'd be the 3 that I'd be looking at. All got very high potential. All can come in and wait for Verge to ride off in the sunset when he goes. Gabardol looks like the easiest choice because he can play left back as well. So if we are broke in the summer, as many are expecting, if you got him in, you could then sell Costas as the backup left back. You can sell him because Gabardol can cover centre back and left back, so that covers 2 positions with 1 player. He looks the already made one out of 3. Out of the 2, then you got the 2 boys in Portugal. But it's going to be interesting. I think Liverpool would like to get their centre midfield transfers done before they even look at centre half.
I mean, yeah,
he's good.
The centre back option definitely needs looking at because we need a Virgil replacement. Gabardol's not a Virgil replacement. You know, you need an experienced centre back to come in to take over Virgil next year, in my opinion, and then look for that. Now, Konate is not a Van Dijk replacement. Konate needs a leader to play alongside him. You know, there's nothing. Don't mean they're bad players. You just need that leader centre back. You know,
He's
someone.
23 though.
I
Jamie. So
just don't
maybe
think he's
within
got.
time.
I just don't know if he's got it in him to ever be that leader.
Some people say Virgil ain't even a leader. Some I've heard some fans say he's not.
Well, he's a leader at the back. He's a shit captain, but as a as a leader of the back, organising, that's what he's good at.
I think Konate can. To be fair, sorry, I think Konate can. I think he can be that guy.
Hopefully.
He's 23, and he'll. By the time he gets to 26, that's another 3 years. Surely by then you would pick up some sort of leadership skills and go forward from there. And I think he's that type of player. I don't think he's that kind of guy that just wants to sit there and be led. I think he wants to take up those roles. He looks like that type of player, in my opinion.
Hopefully. But we definitely need a centre back. We need to be looking at that. Let's just get the two that might be leaving. So Tsimikas. There's a lot of talk at the moment. I think Tsimikas leaves the club this in the summer. I don't think. I don't know what it is. I just don't. I think if Liverpool get a decent offer for Tsimikas, what I've been reading, that they're willing to let him go. Well, what do you guys reckon? I know Ricky ain't the biggest fan of Tsimikas. I'll get Ricky's opinion.
Go on, Ricky. You might go on, Ricky.
Yeah, I don't rate him. Like I see a lot of people rave about him. All right, he can put a good crossing, but so can Robbo. Costas can't defend for me. He's very error prone. Gives the ball away a lot. He can't defend. He come on against Real Madrid, and in 30 seconds he nearly give a penalty away. I know it wasn't a penalty, but he nearly give a penalty away in that. I really don't. I don't rate him at all. I think there's a lot better out there for money. If you can get 20 mil for Costas, I'd bite your hand off for it.
Fair enough. Ends.
I'm on the different side of that spectrum. I actually think he's actually good. He's a lot more technically better than Robbo is, and I think the team plays a lot better in terms of football. Football-wise, we play better when he plays in the team than when Robbo does. Liverpool tend to come up against a lot of teams that play the low block, which Robbo is useless against because there's no space to kind of do overlaps and running behind him and whatever. You need a player that's going to be technically good on the ball that can play into midfield and play those 1-2s and then get around the back. And we've seen that he's very good at hitting those spaces where players can run into, where Tsimikas is better at hitting the target, hitting a player with his crosses. And you've seen that in terms of when the Wolves game, when Salah scored that goal. I just think he's better technically than Robbo is. But I don't want him to go. I think that they complement each other. We have one that's technically good and we got one with energies for days.
No, look, Tsimikas, I think, has been a decent left back for us, but I just feel like I think if a good offer comes in for him, I think they will let him go. That means they need to get a defender in, someone who can play left back, especially.
This is what I'm saying. We don't have an issue. Why cause another issue?
Exactly. That is a good point.
I get maybe for money. I get it. Probably, we need the money, but we shouldn't be creating more issues to solve. So we create two problems and then solve one. When we don't have an issue at left back at the moment, we're cool.
No, I agree.
What?
Right. I want everyone's thoughts quickly. What are we saying?
It's only ranked, what's it, level 2 tier? I won't worry about that. Ain't gold, is it? Silver.
Well, Football Insider is David Lynch.
That was it. He's gold then. So the Milner contract it's not gonna be what everyone thinks it's gonna be. It's gonna be heavily, if he does sign them, it'll be heavily reduced wages. And there will be a coaching role in that contract. There's no way my man's coming on at the Bernabeu again and playing a game of football. It's not happening.
To be fair to him against Real Madrid,
he was probably our best midfielder, but that's just the state of our midfield, though. That he's 38 and he's coming on at the Bernabeu on a Champions League. I mean, listen, Milner's a great professional. You can't knock him. I rate Milner. His career's been very good. He's won trophies everywhere he's been at the top clubs. But we're Liverpool Football Club and he's 38 years old. You cannot be rolling out the red carpet for another season for him.
So there is there is a little bit of breaking news in some reports that Liverpool are turning their attentions to Ruben Neves.
As an alternative to Jude, don't listen to that nonsense.
Not as an alternative. They just want to bring him in.
Oh yeah, it's because he's out of contract in a year's time.
Yeah, so it'd be a reasonable price. I think Wolves are asking 30 to 40 million for Neves with a year left in his contract. Well, what are we saying about Neves? If you had to pick Mason Mount or Ruben Neves, who are you picking?
Mason Mount.
Yeah, Mason Mount.
Yeah. Apparently, he wants to. There's a lot of reports that it's between Liverpool and Barcelona for the signing of him. So, yeah, that's just been coming out lately as we've been on air. Actually, the other one is Nice's Thuram, Borussia Mönchengladbach's Kone. Apparently, we both looked at Liverpool last transfer window, but it's unclear their return for the midfield pair. Why do you reckon that is? Because both of them are reasonably cheap. Nice are only asking 28 million for Thuram, which is, as we know, Liverpool sort of money, FSG sort of money. He's a good age. He's that project kind of player that they like. Why do you reckon we're not going back in for these two, although we looked at them last summer?
People need to stop the whole French league and signing players from that part-time, semi-professional league that is tragic. Like, you've got PSG who are having one of the worst seasons in their history, top of the league by about 6 to 9 points, getting beat by likes of part-time postman and part-time whatever. I'm not taking these. We've dabbed in the French market before. Bruno Cheyrou comes to mind. The next Zinedine Zidane, and he turned out to be the next. I don't even know, but get me out of that French league. Do not sign no midfielders from this French league. I'm not having it unless it's because he's Lilian Thuram's son. We're going to go sign him because his dad was a legend of the game. Let's go sign his son. I mean, come on, man. I'd rather James Milner and Henderson play weekly than these players from France.
There you go. I mean, I did wonder why we've never bought him. I
How old is he?
I think they're only in their early 20s, ain't they?
Yeah.
Ends might know more than me about that, but I think they're only in their early 20s. 22.
Are we actually serious, or are these just reports of these players?
I'm just giving out reports. I don't know.
Oh, okay, cool. No,
I don't know how serious things are. But apparently we looked at them last season. I remember doing something about a video about this last summer about looking at these players. So it must be.
They're Southampton level. These teams level. Like, we're Liverpool Football Club. We need to be dabbing at the top of the range. Like, not these silly players that
you'd rather sign not ready made but close to being instead of the ones that are way below and we have to coach them up. I get it.
We're at a time now where we need to bring superstars. Like, people put in the chat too, me and Cameron.
Yeah, I was about to say, Ricky, people are coming for you, my man.
They're them two players there are wonder kids. Like, that they are wonder kids. Like, you get one or two in every league, but come on, man. There's much better players out there. People can come for me all they want. I couldn't care.
Both. I think both were scouted by Paul Mitchell, by the way. So maybe we should get him in. They're just coming for you now, but
mate, let them out. If you want Liverpool to not be in the Champions League year and challenge for trophies, let's go sign Mickey Mouse centre midfielders.
I get where Ricky's coming from. He's not. It's more that we need to sign players that's there. We're not in a moment right now as Liverpool where we can sign these young players and then hope that they become good. We need to sign players that are good right now.
It's not even that. We have no cash, so why would you want to go splash 25 million on someone no one's ever heard of?
I mean, I get what Ricky's saying. I don't know if I can completely endorse it, Rick, but I understand what you're saying, my man. I really do. What do you reckon on this rumour, by the way? This ain't got nothing to do with us, but it's a former player of ours. Marco Grujic is apparently at Man United are eyeing him up. Marco Grujic.
He never got given a real chance, though, to be fair, Liverpool, did he?
No. But apparently, Man
Klopp's
United are
first signing.
seriously, it was his first signing. Man United are seriously inquiring to sign former Liverpool midfielder
He's
Marco
playing well,
Grujic
bro.
from Porto, and all have already made contact with him. That'd be a madness. That'd be a madness. Imagine if he came back at United, looked decent.
I just remember the goal he scored against Barcelona and
the header, the
Bro.
looping header.
Yeah, man. Old.
He was good in every friendly we had, though. Every pre-season.
Yeah, we just loaned him out every time. I thought
Yeah.
we was trying to loan him to get him up to speed and then get him back, and it never materialized. We just
Do you remember that pre-season friendly against Barcelona? He scored it, and everyone thought he was
that's what we were on
top,
about.
top.
The looping header.
Like,
the looping header. He was good in pre-season. Every pre-season, Grujic actually stood out, and was like.
Then we
I
loaned
remember
him out.
always saying, we should actually like. And then by August 1st, he'd be gone.
Yeah, he's gone. Porto.
He'd be like, okay,
give him a chance.
Okay. So Curtis Jones. Let's finish on someone like a Curtis Jones, because I know a lot of people want our opinions on Curtis Jones. What do we do with young Curtis? He's 22 now. He's 22 years of age. He's got to be part of the homegrown quota because he's over 21 now. What do we seriously do with Curtis as a player? He's been in and around the first team squad now for a few years. I think he's played 80 games or something like that for the club.
It's a lot of games.
He never impresses in a lot of people's eyes. They don't think he's got the talent and the idea enough to make it at Liverpool. If that's the case, I mean, I've watched Curtis a lot. I don't know how good Curtis can be. I don't know how good Curtis is. I don't know Curtis's potential. I really don't. But if that's the case, why are we holding on to Curtis for so long? If Klopp don't like him, if Klopp ain't using him properly and doesn't rate him, why do we continue holding on to him, Ends?
I don't know, man. I don't know. A lot of people make judgments on players without actually watching them and only watch snippets of games and then break down their whole career over it. He's a very good player. The only problem is he's playing in a team or a system that doesn't suit him. And Klopp is trying to, I don't know, he's trying to like keep him to someday hopefully play him. Like, you know, when you're a hoarder and you just hoard things for no reason. Like, instead of loaning him out and give him an opportunity to develop and become better, he needs to go to a football playing side in the Premier League or in the Championship, wherever way you want to do it, and allow him to go and express himself and become better. At the moment, holding him at the club ain't doing him or the club any benefit at all. And it doesn't help because he keeps picking up these crazy injuries. Someone tried to take his eyeball out in training. He was out for months. And then he came back and then he had like a thigh injury or something along those lines. But it doesn't help. We don't play a system that suits him. And then we're trying to shoehorn him into a double pivot, which that's not his game. You know, in the under-21s, he was cooking for England. He played the Curtis Jones. I don't know if you guys watch him play in the under-21s for England. Like, that Curtis Jones is mad compared to the one that we see at Liverpool. So that just tells me the system doesn't suit him that he's playing at Liverpool.
Yeah, I mean,
we just need to loan him out.
When I watch Curtis play, I think Curtis likes to play left wing or that left-hand side of the pitch, yeah. And when he's played there a couple of times, like, oh, okay, I see. Now, I thought he was excellent against Napoli at Anfield playing left wing. I thought he had a really, really good game. I know a lot of people after us, like, Curtis didn't do nothing. What are you on about? I thought Curtis had an all right game, actually. I thought he played really well against Napoli. In the game we won, by the way. I think we're still the only team that beat Napoli. I'm not sure. But he was part of that team. And if we scored one more goal, we'd have had Napoli's path to the Champions League final, by the way. That's how irritating that game is. So I can see there's a player there, but he's not going to get the opportunities, is he? The problem is, if he wants to play left wing, well, he isn't going to get past Luis Diaz. He's not going to get past Darwin Núñez if he has to play the odd game out there, or a Jota if he's played the odd game out there. They're all in front of him, ain't they? For that left wing position. So if that's the case, Ricky, what are we doing keeping hold of him?
So if he wasn't a local lad, he would have gone 2 years ago. I also put the blame on Jurgen Klopp for Curtis Jones. I think Jurgen Klopp's killed Curtis Jones's career in a sense where he tried to turn him into Gini Wijnaldum when Wijnaldum left.
Yeah.
That type player. He was a left winger in the under-21s, banging goals left, right, and centre. We bring him up to the first team. He played a couple games left wing in like the cup competitions. Then Klopp tried to mould him into a centre midfielder, and like it's not his position. Yeah, he's not the one that's going to find that through ball. They're not going to be the one that's going to fight the other teams' midfielders to hold the ball more. He's not a ball-winning midfielder either. So I think we flopped Curtis Jones a little bit in that sense, but I do think a loan move's no good for him no more. I do think he needs to move on permanently. There was talk about Aston Villa wanted him for 40 million, I think, in the summer just gone. So if we can get half of that this summer, I do think it's good for him to be moved on. It's a shame because at one stage he did look like it'd be the next big thing out of the under-21s, but we killed him a little bit.
I mean, if you look at it, Harvey Elliott is way in front of Curtis Jones.
Yeah.
He's way in front of him and he's younger. If the news rumours are true about a certain guy coming back from Blackburn in Tyler Morton, and Klopp really likes what he sees, and Tyler Morton starts playing in front of Curtis Jones, Curtis has got to look at himself for his own career and go, the club I love, this is my club, but for my own career ends, it probably should leave, shouldn't he?
Listen, for him, technically, he's thinking, anywhere I go from now is a step down. I'm at one of the biggest clubs in the world.
Exactly.
Yeah. Why the hell would I want to leave unless they want me to leave? And he only recently signed a new long-term deal as well. Whether that's to protect the player's value or not.
Yeah.
That's here or there. But I just think, as Ricky said, I think we let him down as a club. And I'm not saying, obviously, I'm not trying to make excuses for him because he's not. There probably are games that he hasn't played well, but these games we're talking about are games that he's not playing in his natural position. And this is the problem when we try and shoehorn players and try and mold them into different style of players when they don't have the ability to. Just play him in his natural position. And I get we have Diaz and I get there's other players, but there's cup competitions. Play him in that natural, play him in his natural position. If not, loan him out. Because at the moment we're saying his value is decreasing. Loan him out. Maybe then he reignites his career. And then we can sell him in a year or two time for a hell of a lot more because he's performed. People are seeing him. There's a buzz around him, wherever it may be. But yeah, man, I think we've let him down personally.
Definitely, I agree. Ram just saying he wants you guys your opinions on Edison Alvarez at Ajax.
Ajax, good player. I think it was more of a hype because everyone watched one game and then all of a sudden, and this is what everyone does. They watch one game. And then say, this player is amazing. It's like, no, you've just watched one game, bro.
Yeah, to be fair to Ram does watch a lot.
Yeah, no, that's right. I'm not talking about Ram. I know he watches his games.
Yeah, but so I agree with you. I have this argument about fans all the time is that, I remember every Liverpool fan bigging up Darwin Núñez before we bought him because how well he played against us, yeah? And then as soon as we bought him, they now all hate him. So, you know what I mean? This is the world we live in. Yeah. Ricky, your opinions on Alvarez?
I ain't seen too much of him, but I know he was linked to Man United quite a bit. But he did get destroyed at the weekend by Feyenoord. I mean, he was bad in that game. The whole team was, to be fair, but when you're a DM centre fielder, you stand out more than most, but I ain't seen too much more of him, but Man United rate him highly, so there must be a little bit of a player in there with their bunch of clans scouting.
Well,
teams,
it's probably the manager, isn't it?
The
manager,
he's assigned his whole Ajax team, isn't he?
Yeah.
But he's really the last one left at Ajax, I think, from that sort of generation of the players they had with like De Ligt, De Jong, them type players. He was there with them, so he's the last one left, really.
Right. One last player I want to talk about before we finish up here. All right. He's not a Liverpool player. I want everyone's opinion on the Gavi situation. Now, so it's coming out just now. I've been reading some stuff as we've been on that he got his appeal cancelled or something. So Barcelona can't give him a professional contract. So Gavi right now is on a youth team contract. He's not got a pro contract. He got it taken away from him. They couldn't get it back. So right now, Gavi is a free agent. Right, and there's nothing Barcelona can do about it right now. What do you think is going to happen with this Gavi situation? Now, I personally think somehow Gavi still stays at Barcelona and they somehow give him a pro contract.
He ain't going no way.
But it's mad, ain't it? It's mad, the situation over there. Would you touch Gavi? Say Liverpool that he is coming, right? Liverpool went and got him, right, for a free at the end of the season because he's on a youth team contract, yeah? There's nothing Barcelona could do about it. Would you actually touch Gavi knowing everything that's happening at Barcelona right now, or would you stay way clear?
He's a top player, bro. Why wouldn't I? But Klopp would probably ruin him anyway. So, no. I'd leave him where he is. He's one of my favourite young players at the moment. I'd leave him where he is.
I like him. I think he's he's not just a gifted player. He's also one of them players that gets stuck in as well, ain't he? He's it's a challenge, where Pedri's more the elegant player, ain't he, out the two of them?
Yeah, Gavi's cold, man.
Yeah, cold. I like Gavi. I like Gavi a lot. What do you reckon, Rick? What's your opinions on this situation that's happening with him?
Money talks. He'll be a Barcelona player next season and years to come. Money's going to talk. There's no way La Liga will let a top Spanish young player leave their league for free. There'll be some. If you're Barcelona, you just keep appealing the thing, and eventually, briefcase will come out, and someone says, "Yes,
someone
it's
will
fine."
get paid around money.
Yeah, he ain't never leaving Barcelona. He's Barcelona through and through. Him and Pedri.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel for him a little bit.
Mate, and we still couldn't even afford Gavi if he was a free anyway because we're broke. So.
Oh man, the Gavi situation's mad. The whole Barcelona situation makes no sense to me. But guys, that is it. We've gone over 2 hours. Good debate on players we want to sell, buy, and keep, and all that stuff. Mentioned Curtis Jones, Gomez, brought up Salah because I wanted to talk about him a bit. Hope you enjoyed that, guys. Just a little something different, and we've got international break coming up, and putting out this kind of content while we're waiting for the Man City game. Can't wait for that humiliation. But guys, so what I've got planned this week, then I'll get the wins and I'll get a Ricky and all that, and we'll talk about what everyone's got planned this week. So what I've got planned this week, tomorrow, I'm doing a call-in special. I know I said to everyone yesterday I'll do it on Thursday. Then I forgot on Thursday I am actually doing the England-Italy watch-along. So on Wednesday, I'll be doing the call-in special, guys. So for everyone who was on the channel yesterday, it was on the panel in the call-in show. It'll be happening 6 p.m. tomorrow night. Then on Thursday, we'll be doing the international games. God bless us. And so that should be fun. And then I'll probably carry on that through the weekend as well with the other games, guys. That's what's going on in the channel over here. And let everyone know what you've got going on as well, my man.
I think I'm having a day off tomorrow, but I'm going to do the England game as well. Crazy. Don't know why I'm doing it, but I'll do it anyway. I think it's because they're playing Italy. I'm covering a lot of the international games going forward until obviously we're back talking about Liverpool again. Look, guys, I'm 27 subscribers away from 500. So please, if you can help me out, just head over there, man, and hit that subscribe button. Name's in the subscription there. So yeah, man, appreciate it.
Big up to you, my man. Big up to you. Yeah, guys, go and subscribe to everyone on the panel. Please. We're one big Liverpool community over here. Ricky, what you and Luke got going?
We'll probably do another show this week at some point talking about some of the links to Liverpool in transfer window because I will not be watching Gareth Southgate bore me to death. I'd rather watch wet paint dry than watch England play football. I might do what some people in the chat have advised. I might go watch some French football and watch some of Thuram and them type players. So if anyone's up for it, I'll be doing an episode on French League. Come over and join me.
There you go.
I'll jump across, bro. I'll jump across. I'll support.
That was brilliant. Guys, go and subscribe to these guys, please. Go and subscribe to these guys. Let's keep the family going, guys. And thank you very much, everyone, joining me tonight. I do appreciate, guys. Make sure you hit that like button on your way in, on your way out, all the good stuff. Subscribe if you're new as well. Get the likes up to 100. We're on 80 something at the moment, so get them likes up to 100. I would appreciate it, guys. I'll be back tomorrow for the big call-in show. Should be a fun one. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye for now. Bye.